Good morning from Pretoria. Today we are here at the offices of the South African Revenue Services, and I'm absolutely delighted to interview the wonderful Sarah Blignaut, who is the business head of Digital Solutions and Services. Sarah, thank you so much for making time to talk to us. It's been a little while. We've been trying to get into your diary for a while. How are you today?
Awesome, and thanks very much for the opportunity. Lovely to touch base with you again.
Great, fabulous. Sarah, tell us a little bit about your position here at SARS.
Sure. So, as you mentioned, Business Area Head of Digital Solutions and Services. It's within the IT space, within the Technology and Solutions Delivery area. And largely what I'm responsible for is all the database management, integration teams, development, both internal and external development that we have some development partners helping, and the SAP Centre of Excellence.
Fantastic. And do you have a very large team that you're looking after?
Yes, there are over 200 people that are currently in the team that I manage. Yeah.
That is a large team.
I have a lot of good managers helping out and a lot of good leaders that report into me.
Structure there.
Absolutely.
Fabulous. So what would you describe your typical day to be like? I know it's crazy, but...
Different every single day. I'm a person that loves change, and largely at SARS we get an amazing opportunity. Every day is a little bit different. We are very involved with driving a lot of the strategic projects at SARS, obviously from production maintenance. Our strategic objective is to continuously modernize our systems, and hopefully you as a taxpayer see that. So we're continuously implementing new feature functionality, and that obviously requires a lot of development, a lot of database maintenance, a lot of making sure that systems integrate. And then we have, as I said, a SAP Centre of Excellence, which we manage a lot of own accounts, and some of our tax types are also sitting on that SAP platform. So it could be very varied, from resolving production problems to making sure that, the next release is well planned and ready for production.
I think we all realize that this is probably the most productive department in our government. We hear very good things about this department, and after meeting you, I can see why.
Thank you.
Sarah, tell me a little bit about your career and how you got where you are today.
Sure. So it started off in matric. I really enjoyed accounts. So I decided, my mum was also in the chartered accountancy fraternity, so I decided I was going to become a chartered accountant. So off to study a BCom. At the end of the first year, I decided, like we all did when we were young students, that actually a vacation job would be good, get us some extra money to go out partying. So I got a vacation job at one of the big four in those days accounting firms. The first day on the job, I arrived, and literally they dumped shoe boxes of receipts in front of me and said, "There's the bank statement." Tick off, and they gave me the green pen. So there I was, tick off. And that was enough to convince me chartered accountancy is not for me. In those days, it was still Bill Gates's vision to have a PC on every desk, and now we think back and we think, was it truly that long ago? But absolutely. So what we did then was I decided, right, change of direction. IT was very new in those days, as I said. I was fortunate enough, not even in the first year did you do what was called business information systems. You could only start it in the second year. So when I changed career, I moved into business information systems and then finished the degree in business information systems. So that's really a career change, but thank goodness, because I love my job. I love IT. I love the dynamic parts of it. I'm so very glad that I didn't become a chartered accountant. So that was the start, how I got into IT. Started off as a graduate at FNB, stayed there for 5 years, was headhunted into Telkom, stayed there for 3 years. And then I joined SARS in 1999.
Wow.
So these aren't actually wrinkles. This is a barcode, a SARS barcode across my forehead. And been here and had amazing opportunities.
Fantastic.
I started off as a systems analyst, grew into the project space. I became a systems integrator on an SAP project, SAP support center manager, executive of data integration, finally to the role that I'm in today. So had amazing opportunities within the SARS environment.
the topic that we all like to talk about, and that's women in the workplace and in IT. Have you found it difficult at all? Were there some, some struggles along the way?
I personally, I believe I've been very fortunate, and whether it was my upbringing, I've got an older sister who's 7 years older, but my dad had always wanted a boy. So I think I was the boy of the family, so I would go fishing with him and things like that. So I've never really felt very girlish, and I'm very outspoken, and whether someone doesn't appreciate it, whether it's a female or a male, I've never felt intimidated or belittled because I'm a woman. And I've had very supportive men as leaders, as bosses, that have actually helped me, guided me. So in those days, mentorship wasn't really a thing, but I would look at what they were doing, either emulate the good parts, think, okay, that's not so good, maybe we could soften that a little bit or whatever. So I think that's really from my perspective. I have not had challenges similar to other women have felt within the workplace.
Yeah. So, as a woman having a very strong career and being career orientated, how do you balance work and home?
It is difficult.
Yes.
We used to have a boss who used to say there are 24 hours in every day, and then there's still the night. And the expectation was that we were here 24/7. So I think there have been times in my career that were rather tough. And if you ask me then, have I got a good work-life balance, the answer would definitely have been no. However, I think, for me, it's important that you have a very good support structure around you.
Yes.
At the time, my husband and I attribute a lot of my success to him. I would just phone him at 5 o'clock saying, there's some production problem. I'm not sure if I'm home tonight, so please bath our son, put him to bed, feed him, etc. And whether it's a husband, a mother, a sister, someone that can actually support during those times of crisis, because we all know IT is unpredictable. Yes. Our systems don't go down at convenient times. It's normally when it's very inconvenient. So I think times have moved on. I would suggest that you surround yourself with very competent leaders as well to help take some of that pressure off, to make you have a better work-life balance. And it's something that we need to continuously aspire to. At the stage when we were working that 24/7, I wanted to know everything. I wanted my finger on every single little gap. And my manager at the time said to me, Sarah, it's okay to say, I don't know, I will find out and get back to you. So it took a lot of discipline. And funnily enough, he used to stand in the car park, and if my car was still there at 6 p.m, he said, Sarah, I'm waiting for you to come and move your car. So as I said, I've had a lot of support and a lot of wise men that have helped me through the journey, that have helped me, get a better work-life balance as time has moved on.
That's fantastic. So how do you think your own experiences has affected the way you manage your team? Has it had an impact on that?
I definitely think so, and certainly the management style that you have.
Yes, it's different.
We need to continuously make sure that there's sufficient capacity. If you are the only one, it is difficult to have a work-life balance because there is so much pressure. The will to succeed, the will to make it easier, simpler, and provide more clarity to our taxpayers is continuously at the top of our minds. So the pressure's high on us to continue to make sure that, we enable this to, provide a capable state for the betterment of all South Africans. So there's a kind of an inbuilt pressure on us. But in order to try and alleviate for our staff, I also do encourage, listen, take some leave, take a day off, because we soon get wound up in that whole sort of cycle, the hamster wheel cycle, that actually you think if I'm away for an hour, it will be a crisis. What we've also done, we have these, we call it get to know each other, and we do a short walk around this Brooklyn campus as a team. And it's lovely because we get to know the people a little bit more, but just to also remember that actually it's not all about work. You need to look after your health. You need to take care of yourself in order to be your best at work as well.
It is, because, yes, absolutely, that last point is so important. So tell me a bit about skills development for your team. What do you do here at SARS?
So we've got a multi-pronged approach. The one of them is obviously on the technical side, that we get a lot of our strategic partners to help us build graduate programs Two things that helps us with. The first one is obviously we've got an aging population, as many of the South African companies do. And the second one is that new ideas come in. We challenge our graduates to continuously push us, to tell us, your thinking's too old, bring in some new ideas. Let's challenge the leadership, and we do encourage that.
Nice.
So from a graduate perspective, we're very supportive, and one of the teams called their graduate program an incubator hub, which is quite fun. So that's the one perspective of it. The second perspective is that we give ongoing training, obviously, on the techie side. But what we found is there's also a huge gap from a leadership perspective. So we have what we call up-and-coming talent once a month, whereby we have forums, and we as a leadership team share with our employees some of the scars that we've learned, some of the things that, that maybe is intuitive to us. How do you make that decision under pressure? How do you say, okay, shut that server down, okay, what do you do next? And we try and give them real life examples of kind of the textbook leadership stuff. Yes. So that's also helping, which we find is, from the more softer skills side, helping our employees to grow. And then we also have what we call show and tell time, whereby the techies can show what they've done. And again, beneficial from a, look what we're doing in a kind of a recognition perspective. And secondly, to also share their knowledge of what they've learned through the process of those technical design sessions or implementations.
Wow, that's sharing real life experiences. That's invaluable.
Absolutely.
When I was talking to someone earlier this week, and one of the things that I feel very passionate about, we have 1 million matriculants that graduate every year, and those people have to find jobs. Not all of them can get taken up in universities and higher education, and some of them can't afford further education. And how do we help those people? And I personally believe that companies are doing so well now to develop their own talent, and that makes space for new people to come in. So to hear that you have this program, you say a graduate program, is a degree very important to SARS in terms of employment?
It is. We do require tertiary education to come into the IT space, so yes, it is important at SARS. I do know that internationally, places like Google are getting less strict on that.
Yeah, it's a trend now.
However, currently, and my son's recently finished matric, or 4 years ago, and the question was, does he do a degree? And I chatted to a lot of people in the industry to say, does he, doesn't he? I don't think there's any downside of completing a degree. I think it gives you a good basis in order to start your career on. And then secondly, once you start working, it's probably unlikely that you're going to go back and study. So get it out the way.
That's the thing.
Whilst you're still living with mum and dad, and then you can build on that from there on.
No gap years.
No gap years.
Those mess up any plans. But it is a thing. So what advice would you have for young women who want to get into the IT space?
The first one, as I've shared, is create a good support structure. Second one is don't be scared to speak out. If you've got opinion, don't sit in the corner and keep it to yourself. Do speak out. I do a lot of mentorship with a lot of women. It is a concern because in 2023 an international study was done and 14% of women are in leadership in IT.
That's crazy.
So it's ridiculously low. So we need to continue to pass the ladder down to build up female talent. But as I said, I think it's important that they surround themselves with good people. In the workplace, identify who are the strong people, identify who you can collaborate with, build those relationships, which is a little bit difficult when a working remotely situation, but it's very, very important to build those relationships and work hard. Although we want a good work-life balance, I think working hard never hurts anybody. And I believe a lot of my fantastic journey within SARS has been because I was prepared to go that extra mile. So, that would be my advice to young women.
I think you're a fabulous role model for any young lady out there to want to get into the business and to be ambitious. I know personally that you've been nominated for a couple of awards recently. You also very involved with the Wired for Women movement, correct?
Correct.
Do you play like any specific role in there, or do you just support?
I just support.
Okay.
I do a lot of mentorship, both within
Through
SARS
them.
and then I also
Okay.
do with the African Tax Administration Forum.
Wow,
I
okay.
am also again mentoring young up-and-coming talent through that forum as well.
What a lucky young lady to be mentored by you.
Thank you, that's very
No,
sweet.
I think you set a very good example for young women out there. I don't know what it is, but young ladies don't typically think of this as a career.
I know.
And when you look at organizations, you typically still see women in HR, women in training positions, but it is changing. Tell us a little bit more about how a young person who wants to get into the industry or is already working in the industry, how would they tap into that service?
I think what they should do is have a look and find out what is available to them. So, for example, in the tax world, the African Tax Administration Authority largely has programs where you can apply either to be a mentor or a mentee. And they match up mentors and mentees that actually successfully pair each other. Secondly, from a leadership perspective, we do a lot of promoting of mentorship. So I teach my leaders to be mentors as well, which helps to expand the pool of mentors that can actually train mentees. But to go out and ask, if you're a young up-and-coming talent, I've had a number of people approach me to say, Sarah, would you mind being a mentor? So have the guts, go out there and ask for it.
Absolutely correct. Thank you so much, Sarah. It's been wonderful to talk to you today. Thank you for making time in your very busy schedule for us today. We
Thank you,
appreciate
Lorraine, and thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you and a lot of fun. So thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And that concludes our chat with Sarah Blignaut. Sarah, a very important person here at SARS, and we're very happy to see that our money is being handled by very competent people. Thank you very much again for watching. I hope you find this as useful as I did today. We will share some information about the mentorship down in the comment section. And thanks for watching.